Lesson 53, we're looking at metric unit conversions, English units to metric units, and weight combination by percent. On example 1, it says to use unit multipliers to convert 7,560 centimeters to kilometers. So what we first do, or I use the picket fence method, 7,560 centimeters. And of course, I'm going to kilometers. So there's a step between the centimeters and the kilometers. I'm going to go from centimeters to meters. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And then meters to kilometers, there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Now you'll notice that when I'm making these conversions, that if the unit is on top, then the next step it's on the bottom. And that's how I cancel my centimeters and my meters. They just keep rotating. If they're on top, they're on bottom. If they're on bottom, they'd be on top. Okay, and then for my class, I just have them leave their answer like this. But if you needed to keep going, you would divide this 7,560 by 100 and by 1,000. Or you could multiply the 100 and the 1,000 and have 100,000 and divide that into 7,560. Your choice. In the next one, we're using unit multipliers to convert 15,740,000 square centimeters to square kilometers. So again, I start with that 15,740,000. Make sure I don't mess up on how many zeros we got there. So it's centimeters squared this time. But I still do the same steps, it's just this time because it's squared, I'll have to square my unit multipliers. So again, centimeters to meters, so 100 centimeters. Now I'm just going to square it. You could write 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters on the bottom. But that's 1 meter squared, centimeters squared, so those cancel. And then meters to kilometers, and again it's square. I'll have 1,000 squared per meter squared to get 1 kilometer squared. Okay, and again I just have my classes leave it like this, but if you needed to actually get that number, you would just divide this 15,740,000 by 100 squared and 1,000 squared. Okay, example 3, use unit multipliers to convert 32 yards to meters. So we start with that 32 yards on top. Okay, so we need to go yards to feet. So in 1 yard, there's 3 feet. And then from feet to inches. So in 1 foot, there's 12 inches. And then here is the unit multiplier that takes us from our American Standard to metric, which is 2.54 centimeters per inch. So in 1 inch, there's 2.54 centimeters. Okay, and then I just need to go to meters. So in 1 meter, there's 100 centimeters. So now, if we multiply all the numbers on top and divide by that 100 on bottom, that would have our yards to meters. And again, I have my classes keep it like that, but if your teacher needs you to, go ahead and multiply all the top numbers together and then divide by 100 to get the number. Okay, on example 4 it says use unit multipliers to convert 0.042 square kilometers to square miles. Okay, so this is kind of a long one here. So we start with 0.042 kilometers squared. I can't make a straight line, but that's our dividing line. All right, so first I'm going to go to kilometers to meters. So in 1 kilometer squared, there's 1,000 square meters squared. So now we can cancel our kilometers squared. And then in 1 meter squared, there's 100 squared centimeters squared. Okay, and then our next step, we go from our centimeters to inches. So there's 2.54 squared centimeters squared. You get 1 inch squared. And there's 12 squared inches squared in 1 foot squared. And then there are 5,280 squared feet squared in 1 mile squared. So now we've converted our kilometers squared to miles squared. Alright, in example 5, it's a little bit different. We look at what percent by weight of this sodium. Let me see what that was again, because it's been a while since I've had to study the naming of elements, compounds. Alright. It just says in the molecule of this compound, so it doesn't tell us. But what we need to know is the gram molecular weight. So for sodium, there are 2 of those. So 2 times its weight is 2 times 23. And then for sulfur, there is 2 of those, so 2 times 32. And then for oxygen, there are 3 of those, so 3 times 16. Right, so this gives us 46, this gives us 64, and this gives us 48. Then we just need to add those together to get the total, which is 158 grams. Okay, and it wants to know the amount of the sodium. So we go 46 divided by 158, and that would give us a 0.29, and it wants the percent, so that would be 29%, and that would be our answer. So all you need to do is find the molecular weight of the compound and then put whichever element's weight over that total and divide, and then take the percentage. So you wouldn't want to just leave it like this. You want to go ahead and multiply it by 100 to get the percent. Hopefully this helps, and I will see you in lesson 54.